what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do the beauty consumer tag, and then at the very end of this video I'm going to talk a little bit about being a project planner and my subscription boxes and just kind of what my goals are for my makeup collection, all that fun stuff. I had mentioned briefly like in a video before that I might make a separate video on that. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in this because it feels like it all kind of fits. I will leave timestamps down below if you're just interested in hearing me talk about that. It's not going to be very long, but I'll leave a timestamp for when this tag is over and I start talking about, like, you know, the little chat with me section we're going to do in here. So the beauty consumer tag, it's a tag of 15 questions. 90s Love Child started the tag, so I will leave a link for that video down below if you're interested. I'm sorry, it's 13 questions, not 15. I don't know where I got 15 from. But we're going to go through these questions and we're going to see what type of beauty consumer I am, I guess. So we're going to jump into the beauty consumer tag. We're going to get through these questions, and then like I said at the end of it, I'm going to do a little chat with me about some of the other beauty life stuff that is going on. Okay, so the first question is, how much do you spend on makeup a month or a year? So I spend a lot of money on makeup, obviously. My husband and I have a budget for every month. It pretty much stays the same, and that encompasses all of our spending. It encompasses our bills, everything that the kids need. There's a section for like the random one-time purchases. Like, it's a pretty cohesive budget. So in that budget, I have a discretionary amount that I'm allowed to spend on whatever I want to spend that doesn't need to be discussed with him, that I can just spend freely, right? So I use a portion of that for my subscription boxes, and then the rest of it is for me to spend on whatever I want to. So that budget is what I spend on makeup. I don't spend the entire amount on makeup. It goes towards clothes, it goes towards music, it goes towards like random, like the yoga stuff that I just bought was done with that, my cross stitching stuff. I mean, like any of the like the random things that like I want but that doesn't benefit the household, like that's my amount. So that amount is $500 a month. My subscription boxes are roughly $250 a month. I get the Laurel and Reed, I get all 3 BoxyCharms, I get all 3 Ipsies, FabFitFun. I know that there's more. I'm totally blanking. Oh, I get like an arts and crafts subscription box. So all of those boxes are part of that budget. And so I typically have between $200 and $250 left over. I don't always spend the entire budget either, and it doesn't roll over. Like, that's just what it is for the month. So I don't always spend the entire budget. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So as far as that goes, what is that, like, I think $6,000 a year, but like not all of that is going to make up either. It varies. It literally just varies on what I need. Typically I tend to spend more towards like the holidays and the summertime on makeup because that's when a lot of places are having good sales. That tends to be where I stock up. A portion of that every month though goes to like the Ulta Platinum Perk Day, Ipsy add-ons, things like that. So some of that is getting spent. Like, I do buy makeup every month. I just don't spend the full amount. I am Diamond at Ulta, so that means that I'm spending $1,200 a year at Ulta. I'm not anything at Sephora anymore because I no longer shop at Sephora, and I don't know an exact amount like per year how much I spend on makeup. I mean, it's a lot though, you know, but like that's kind of my budget for the things like I need. So yeah, I feel like that kind of answers it well enough. And if you have any other questions, like, please let me know in the comments down below. I'd be more than happy to answer anything for you. And I am like very blessed for being like, my husband spoils me. So it's a huge blessing that I'm able to have that money to spend every month. And I definitely do appreciate him for that. I think it's amazing, and I'm just so grateful for having that opportunity. So I definitely don't take it for granted or anything. Do you ever feel guilty about how much you spend on makeup? This is question 2. So I try not to. I mean, like, obviously when you're spending a lot of money on something, like, I think the feelings of guilt are kind of natural, but as far as like my family, I'm not taking anything away from my kids by spending the money on makeup. I'm not taking away anything from what my family would be able to do by spending the money on makeup. So in that situation, no. Like, my husband and I go over budgets so in depth, and like, so the amount was higher at one point in time, it was lower at one point in time. It does fluctuate, but like, we view everything as a team effort. We both have worked very hard to get where we are. So as far as that goes, I don't really feel guilty about that because I'm not taking away from anything else that my family would need, and we both worked very hard to get where we are to be able to afford the things that we are able to. Question number 3. Do you ever get FOMO related to makeup releases? A fear of missing out? I used to get it really bad. And every once in a while, I will buy a mystery box purely out of FOMO. I try not to though, because here's the thing. When you've been in the makeup world for as long as I have, and you have a collection the size that I have, you really do start to learn that all of this stuff comes back around. Like, all of the trends end up repeating themselves. It's something that everything is done over and over and over again. So even if you miss out on like a specific palette, there's going to be 10 other ones that are almost identical. You know what I mean? And I think like even with, so right now we're having a huge blush surge, right? And every few years, blushes become very, very popular and everybody releases a whole bunch of blushes. And there's just, like, I do have, you know, a semi-collector's mentality where I like to have collections of things. But a lot of that stuff I've realized over the years have been, like, that's been the stuff that I've decluttered first because I was never actually interested in it. I just wanted to collect it. And I'm kind of, like, getting over that. I don't want, like, I obviously have, like, a makeup collection, but I don't want to buy things for the sole purpose of collecting them, because it just gets too overwhelming. I never want to use any of it. Like, I want my collection to be something that makes me happy. So I don't really get the FOMO anymore, just because I have a good collection. You know, I get new stuff every month anyways. My husband always says, love the one you're with. So I try to like the collection that I have instead of being concerned that I'm going to miss out on another neutral palette. Like, I don't need that. Number 4, do you purchase or keep items simply because they are limited edition? I used to, once again. So I will say, what was the last thing I bought just because it was limited edition? I want to say it was like that Becca, the Skin Perfector, but it was like the Year of the Pig one. Here's the thing though, when I purchased that, and this was last year, when I purchased that, I knew that it was a shade that I would use. I knew that it was a shade that would get good use from me, so it wasn't like I was just purchasing it because it was limited edition. I used to purchase things just because they were limited edition, and like I was just talking about with the FOMO question, it really doesn't make much sense. And here's the other thing, limited edition things nowadays aren't as limited edition as they seem. Look at the Too Faced Gingerbread Spice palette. They had released that limited edition for Christmas, and then like the next summer they re-released it. Like, none of that made any sense. I ended up getting it during the re-release because I did really like it. I loved the look of it. I really wanted it, but I didn't want to like jump into it, and I had a lot of palettes at that point. So once I was able to think about it, realized that I really did want it and I would like to have it in my collection, and then I purchased it during the re-release. So as far as limited edition stuff goes, that's really more of one of those like in-your-face terms to try to get you to panic buy. And I really try to be wary about that. Like, now I don't pay attention if something's limited edition or not. Like, that does not matter to me. If I want something, I'll get it. And if I don't, I won't. Regardless of if it's limited edition or not, I just pretend like it's a buzzword. I pretend it doesn't exist at this point. 5, would you be willing to pay more money for a sold out product online? No. Okay. When I first got into the makeup world, the MAC limited edition collections were a huge thing. Everybody would go crazy over them. And like nowadays, I feel like MAC limited edition collections are still talked about, but like nowhere in the realm of what they used to be. And so people, when the limited edition collections were released, people would buy up everything and then sell them online. Like, I'm talking like lipsticks for $200. The 16, they used to be like $16, $16 lipsticks for $200 on eBay. It crazy to me. Like, there was once this nail polish, it was by an indie brand, I don't remember what brand, I don't remember what polish it was, and it was like one of the last that they were ever gonna make of this particular shade. And there was a bottle going for $1,200 on eBay for a bottle of nail polish. Like, no thank you, no. If I miss it, I miss it. It'll either be re-released or I'll get it later. I will say, with the Jeffree Star Conspiracy palette, my little sister really wanted one, so I did wait online for 3.5 hours, but I told her that if I didn't get one, she was gonna have to wait for a re-release because I was not paying extra to buy it from somebody else online. I can't. It's price gouging. Makeup is so expensive as it is. The extra markup is just completely unnecessary. 6, do you wish you could spend more or less? I feel like I've spent much less over the years, and I've spent much more over the years. When my husband and I first got together, we had no money. And so I didn't spend any money. And it's been nice to get to this point in my life where I have the disposable income that I can spend. He's given me the option to up my budget, and I did have it upped at one point, like I had mentioned before. It's been higher, and I ended up decreasing it myself because $500 a month is a good chunk of change just to spend on, you know, your wants and your desires and things like that. And so for me personally, I'm good with the amount that I spend. If anything, I would like it to go a little bit lower as well, but there's just so many good deals. So if anything, I would like to spend less, but I'm also happy with where I'm at because of the decreases that I've already taken, and I feel like this is a good like level for me to be at, because I tend to like go deep, you know. So when we didn't have any money, I was buying nothing, and when we did have money, I was buying everything, and I feel like I'm finally starting to kind of level out. So we'll see. I mean, the number will probably end up decreasing in the future as well. But right now I think it's good. 7, do you feel compelled to buy something when you see it in someone else's collection? That's a good question. I don't really watch a whole lot of makeup collection videos. I used to watch, makeup collection videos are what got me started on YouTube. Like I used to just binge watch those all the time. And I do still watch them from time to time. Here's the thing though, I think that I've gotten to a place where I'm so comfortable with my collection that I don't really get like jealous over other people's collections anymore. If anything, it's nice to see what they have like backups of and things like that, because it's cool to see like what they like that much. I'm not really a backup person, but it's really interesting to see what people like so much that they feel the need to run on by backups of. You know, it's really nice to see what has gotten use in their collection. Like, I like that, and I like watching them. If anything, I get jealous of the storage systems. There's a YouTuber, I'm completely blanking on her name, but she has this amazing setup, and it's like all custom made. I cannot believe, like I can see her face in my head, and I am just completely blanking on the name. But she has this amazing like custom built setup, and oh my god, what I would give for one of those. But you know, it's not necessarily something that like I want to buy because I've seen it, you know. I can appreciate it just like I can appreciate the products that people have in their collections. I don't think I really feel compelled to buy something. Sometimes I will see something and I'll start to think about it. You know, I'll go through like my own thought process about it. I don't know if I would call that compelled or not, because I'm not buying things that I don't want because I've seen somebody else have them. So I don't think so. Number 8, do you buy more during the holidays? Yes, because during the holidays, they have better sales. Black Friday is great for makeup shoppers. And really like after Christmas, like the whole thing is great. I consider summer to be kind of a holiday too as far as sales go. And like I said earlier, summers and the holidays are when I buy the absolute most makeup at one time. I typically tend to try to like save up Ulta points throughout the year and then do like a big haul during their Christmas sales, which I'm doing really bad at, by the way, this year, because I have like no Ulta points left. I spent them all last year, and for whatever reason, like I'm just not buying as much from Ulta this year. I don't know. And so I don't have, like, I have none right now. So I definitely do, because it's better sales. Number 9, have you ever hidden a makeup purchase from family or friends? Like when I was a teenager, and my mom was like semi-strict on like the makeup that I was allowed to wear, then yeah, for sure. As an adult, I don't think so. Like, not that I can remember. Like, everybody that knows me knows that I'm makeup insane. So it's just kind of like a thing, you know? I also, though, tend to like deal shop. Like, I hate paying full price for literally anything. So it's kind of just become one of those like personality traits for me, I guess. And I don't really hide it though. Like, I am who I am. 10, do you have more than 10 products in your collection that you have not used in over a month? 100%. That is the downside to having a larger collection. For things like skincare, I tend to have one open at a time. So like for toners, I have 3 open at one time. One that I use upstairs after I take my makeup off, one that I use before my nighttime skincare routine, and one that I use in the morning before I do my makeup. So, but like those 3 toners, before I open up a 4th one of those has to go. Like one of those has to be empty. So 100% there's things that don't get used month to month. 11, have you ever been pressured to purchase something you could not afford or did not need? I mean, I feel like everybody has, especially when I was younger. Like, that's just the mentality, that's the social media mentality, like, especially back then. Because when I first got into makeup, minimalism and project painting and stuff was not a thing. Like, it was literally just collect. And 100%, that's where a lot of my bad habits came from. That's where, like, the things that I'm trying to fix now with, like, project panning, and I do have an oversized collection as it is, you know, but just trying to kind of make sure that I'm using everything and stuff's not just sitting there going bad. That's all stuff that I've had to, like, kind of unlearn. 100% I felt pressured. And it was all pressure that I was putting on myself, though, which is really dumb when you think about it, but I feel like everybody goes through that, and it's just one of those things that you have to outgrow, you know, like, and I did have a lot of jealousy when I was younger too, and I think that that's just something that you have to kind of outgrow, and just understand that, like, if you focus on yourself, you tend to have a lot more, like, inner happiness, and what other people have doesn't really affect you the way that it affects some people. And that's how I think anyways. Like, I'm really happy with myself and who I am as a person and my life, and so I don't feel like that inner pressure anymore that I need to do something to, like, impress someone, you know what I mean? Number 12, do you purchase makeup for collector reasons? It depends. I used to a lot. Now I don't really. There are certain exceptions to that though. The Urban Decay Naked palettes, I buy all of those every time, and those are my favorite palettes. Same with the ColourPop Monochromatic, the little 9-pan palettes, I buy all of those. I do use them all, and that's the important part to me. So I do buy them because I like having the full collection, but I use them all. Now, as far as things that I wouldn't get any use out of, I try really hard to not give in to the collector's mentality for that. And the last question, question 13, in your makeup journey, have you become less or more consumeristic? I'd like to think I've become less. I do buy less now than I used to. And when I was younger, it was very like quantity over quality. And now I feel like I'm more into the quality, you know, like obviously a deal is a deal and I'm still like deal shopping, but I'm not buying like $100 worth of like the $1 e.l.f. line where the quality isn't the greatest. And don't get me wrong, I love e.l.f. They've got some amazing products, but those like the $1 like eyeliners and stuff, they never worked well for me. And yet I had like a ridiculous amount of them because they were so cheap. So I've got away from that. I definitely put more thoughts into my purchases now. I have been like for the past year decluttering my entire house and my makeup collection and all that stuff. I talk about it a lot on my channel. So I'd like to think like we have a ton of stuff. We really do. And obviously my makeup collection is oversized, but I'd like to think that I'm getting better because I am doing less. And it's baby steps, it's baby progress, you know? Like makeup makes me happy, so I'm okay with this. So those are the questions. If you choose to do the tag, please let me know, link it down below or something. I'd love to watch your videos, read your blog posts, what have you. I've been really enjoying watching these videos. I want to go ahead and talk about a couple of like random things. So obviously I do project pan, and the purpose for project panning varies from person to person. So for me personally, I'm not project panning because I want to have a collection of only one item per category. Like that's just not me. I like having choices. I like having I like using different things. I like trying new things. Like that's what makes me happy. And everybody's different. And I know that a lot of people get more joy out of just having everything simplified, enough makeup to only fit in a makeup bag. It's just not personally me. So for me, when I project pan, my goal is to use up, you know, some of the products that might be older in my collection that need to get used up, or just to make sure that I'm getting use out of products that I don't always necessarily reach for. I've had some requests to do a video on how I choose my weekly makeup baskets because I use a random number generator. I do plan on doing that video. I have to figure out like the best way to film that because my random number generator I use on my phone. So I'm trying to like work out the technicalities of it all, but I do plan on filming that, and I'm hoping that that'll be up this month. So with project panning though, I get a lot of questions about the subscription boxes, and especially since I've gone cruelty free, because subscription boxes are such a toss up as far as like if you're gonna like what you get, if you're gonna be able to use what you get, and especially if stuff is cruelty free. So here are my viewpoints on that. With subscription boxes, Laurel and Reed is a cruelty free subscription box. I also get the Fashionista boxes, which with the exception of the February boxes, have all been cruelty-free. They don't advertise that they're cruelty-free, but with the sole exception of February of 2020, they've all been cruelty-free that I've received so far and that I've seen discussed. If that continues to change, if they keep sending non-cruelty-free stuff, I'm probably gonna have to reconsider my subscription with them. And then I get BoxyCharm and Ipsy. So a couple of those are cruelty-free. BoxyCharm and Ipsy are not cruelty-free, and they do sometimes send out brands that are not cruelty-free. Here's my thing though. When you buy a subscription box, because of the type of deal that it is, you're spending X dollars for X dollars worth of stuff, right? Which is great in theory, but you really have to look at how much you're using. If I get an Ipsy bag and I paid $12 for the Ipsy bag, but all I'm using is this teensy little tiny foundation sample that comes in the Ipsy bag, it's really not worth my $12. So what I look at is how much use am I getting out of the products and how many of them are cruelty-free, because if they're not cruelty-free, they automatically go, I don't open them, I don't touch them, I pass them along to friends and family who aren't cruelty-free. So for me, with BoxyCharm and Ipsy, I've had very few non-cruelty-free things. I don't know if I've gotten lucky or what. I do leave reviews every month. I don't know if that's playing a part in it, but so anything that's not cruelty-free automatically goes, except I've only gotten like a handful of non-cruelty-free things in the last 6 months or so. Like I would average maybe one item out of every 2 or 3 boxes, right? So I get both BoxyCharms every month and all 3 Ipsys. So 5 boxes, and I typically end up having between 3 and 5 non-cruelty-free items out of all of it, you know? And that's percentage-wise fantastic. Like I'm doing great, like that's wonderful. If that number ramps up in the future, I probably will end up canceling, because obviously I don't want to support the cruelty-free organizations. I do leave, like, you know, I'm not interested in these products on the little review things. I'm not interested in this brand. And then I pass them along to friends and family, but I'd rather just not give them my money to begin with. So if that number ramps up, I probably will reconsider subscribing, and I might switch over to like all cruelty-free subscriptions. But as of right now, I feel like it's not a huge deal. And with the boxes, what I look at, and I get the subscription boxes because I really enjoy them, you know, and what I look at is how many of these products am I actually using? And here's the thing. After months and months and months of keeping track and writing down and figuring out how often I'm using it and if I'm actually excited about it, or if it's just the FOMO or people online hyping it up and everything, I really do enjoy my boxes. And I've gone through dozens of subscription boxes trying to figure out what I like the best. This, as of right now, is what I'm working with. I probably, like, I'm looking at a couple of other ones. I might switch them out. I might add to that. I don't know yet. But I use, if you take out the cruelty-free stuff, right, I still use probably 95% of what's left. And part of that though is because I love trying out new stuff, and I'll totally use like the crazy eyeshadow shades or the crazy eyeliner shades or the crazy lip colors. Like I love all that stuff. I love trying like weirdly textured skincare and things like that. So I'm all for all of that. So because of that, I really truly think that it's a good value, like for me personally at least, because I've looked into it enough to know that I'm getting a really good use out of it. And that's what I think that people need to look at. It can be a waste for sure. Like my mom is super picky about the skincare she uses. She doesn't use any makeup. I don't really think that it would be a worthwhile endeavor for her to subscribe to subscription boxes, at least not beauty boxes. I think she gets FabFitFun and she likes that one enough, but she normally gives me the makeup out of her box. You know, but so she doesn't use any makeup, so she only wants skincare. But even with the skincare, she's super picky about what she gets. And I think if you're going to get subscription boxes, you can't be picky. Because I have an open mind, and some of this stuff doesn't work out for me, but I always give it a fair shot, right? And part of what I'm paying for subscription boxes, in my personal opinion, is the ability to try new things, right? So if I have an Ipsy bag for $12 and I get 5 items in it, that makes each item $2.50, something like that. I'm terrible at math, I'm so sorry. We'll go with $2.50, right? Okay, so let's say one of the items that I paid $2.50 for doesn't work out for me. Well, here's the thing. First of all, I've tried it. And second of all, now I know that I don't like it. So instead of paying however much for the full size or for a little travel size, which is crazy cost per ounce, I paid $2.50 for a little sample size. I was able to try it, figure out I don't like it. Now I don't have to ever deal with it ever again. Do you see what I'm saying? So I really think that you have to look at what your personal goals and expectations for subscription boxes are and kind of adjust accordingly. But I wanted to clear that up because I have gotten questions like, if you're project panning, like, why are you keep eating subscription boxes? Because that's just a huge increase to your collection every month. And that's why. I actively use up makeup. I've used up so much makeup like this year alone because I do the weekly makeup baskets and I do the project panning. And so I go through makeup decently quickly. I mean, like, obviously it's a slow going, but like, I'm really happy with my usage levels, and so I'm okay with having the new stuff enter my collection, and I'm okay with what I'm getting, and I don't feel like it's a waste of money. So that's my answer to that, if that helps. That's kind of just what I wanted to chat about. I wanted to clear that up because I've gotten a lot of questions about that, and I know that it doesn't completely make sense. And it's kind of a weird like niche to be in because like I'm a project planner who also does a shit ton of unboxings and shopping. But like, it's just one of those things, like, I want to keep control over my collection. I don't want my collection to control me. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm coming from. I'm assuming there's an audience out there for that. So let me know down below what you guys think about all of this. If you project pan, if you get subscription boxes, if you like them, let me know how y'all feeling. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I will catch you next time. Bye.